If you turn back, you will probably lose the last chance your village has for survival. Already flakes of the first winter's storm are swirling in the cold air. You make your decision quickly. You will not turn back. You will given your word to do your best, and you will succeed or die trying. Tying the mule to a huge hunk of ice, you set to work. Afterward, you can't remember how long it took you to clear the trail. Your memory is clouded by the pain of bleeding hands, frozen fingers, and snow-blind eyes. But alas, the job is done. The trail is clear. You collapse against the shaggy warmth of the mule and fall into an exhausted sleep. At last, you awaken, stiff and aching. Rising painfully to your feet, you pull the sleepy, snow-covered mule out of the narrow trail. It twitches and trembles, but follows you nervously along the icy path. The path is narrow and dangerous. The mountain rises steeply on one side, covered in ice and snow. The other side is a sheer edge of mountain. At its base, thousands of feet below, are sharp teeth of rock loosely buried in masses of snow and ice brought down by the avalanche. You edge your way past the snow-covered frost giant's cave, catching the scent of the dragon. Your mule's nostrils flare. Easy, boy. I don't like it either. Don't worry, the dragon can't get us now. The mule flattens its ears against its head, but continues to plod through the snow past the cave. The wind increases and the ice and snow blow against you with tremendous force, making it difficult to see and to keep your balance. It is almost impossible to push forward. Suddenly, the mule rears and begins to scream, jerking hard against the rope. You slip on the icy trail. You can no longer control the frightened mule. Screaming wildly, the mule rips the rope from your hands, turns and rushes into the storm. Within seconds, it is lost from your sight in the blowing snow. You are alone on the mountain. You place your hand on the hilt of the sword of the Magus. As though in answer to your touch, the sword begins to hum. You wonder where the danger could come from in this lonely place. You draw your sword and peer into the driving storm, trying to find your enemy. A figure stumbles towards you out of the whiteness. It's an orc. Its greenish-brown skin is covered with snow. You wonder why it is wandering around outside. Orcs hate the light and usually live underground. You don't have long to wonder. The orc is attacking. There is a sudden lull in the storm, and a bright ray of sun floods the area. Sensing the strength of the sword of the Magus and your brilliance of the sun, the orc turns and runs. It rushes down the trail, with you following close behind. As you round a bend in the trail, the orc disappears. The snowy trail stretches before you, but no footprints mark its surface. You wonder if possibly orcs have been ambushing parties who travel through these lonely mountain passes. You know that an orc would be here only for evil purposes. Great gusts of snow and freezing wind wail past you on the narrow ledge, tearing the question about orcs away from your mind. You must soon find shelter or perish. Closely exhausting the frozen ground, you see orc footprints leading straight into the side of the mountain. Looking carefully, you discover an opening hidden by overhanging ledges of snow and icicles. Squeezing between two sheets of ice, you enter an ice cave. Sword at the ready for the orc. The sword of the Magus is silent. Looking down, you see many footprints on the frozen ground. There are footprints of elves, orcs, humans, animals, and some footprints you don't recognize. You creep slowly into the dark cave. Your elven sight shows you that nothing is in the cave. Slowly you step out of the darkened area. Your feet fly out from under you. You come down hard, landing flat on your back. When you land, you begin to slide. This was no small patch of ice. You travel fast and faster, plunging through the tunnel of ice, sloping downwards. The walls blur slowly. The steep angle of the icy chute begins to even out. Using your feet, you brake yourself. You start to slow down. Finally, you skid to a stop. Scared and shaken, but unhurt. The sword of the Magus remains silent. Wherever you are, there are no enemies nearby. Holding the sword of the Magus before you, you command it. Great sword of the Magus, light this place. The clear golden light springs from the sword and fills the area. You are a small room made of ice. Behind you is an icy chute rises in shimmering spirals towards the roof far above. You see nothing in the room, but for the orc footprints leading to a curious door in the far wall. You approach the door slowly, holding the sword of the mages before you. You have never seen a door like this before. It is made from ice, and sculpted on it is a great face. Frosty eyebrows jut over deep-set closed eyes. An enormous beak-like nose extends over a bushy ice mustache that bristles with tiny icicles. The mouth is frozen in a frigid snarl. Stepping up to the door, you push at it with all of your strength. It does not move. You back up, rush towards the door, and crash into it with your shoulder. Your arm tingles with pain, but the door hasn't budged. You cannot break the door down by force. Maybe you can chop your way through with your axe. You take the axe and bash the door. A great blow. The axe slides in as easily as slicing warm butter, but instead of cutting through the door seals around the blade. With difficulty, you pull it free from the ice. This is no ordinary door. It must be enchanted. Still, if the orc got through the door, then so can you. You walk up to the door, raise your hand, and knock on its great, domed forehead. Sound echoes in the small room. The door's eyes fly open and glare straight at you. Mouth opens, and with a breath like the north wind, it asks, "Who's there?" A talking door. You stare at it in amazement. Well, you went knock knock, and I said, "Who's there?" said the door. At least you can do is answer my question. Why are you staring at me? Don't you know it is not polite to stare? Snorts the door. One meets the worst classes of beings down here. Well, I won't waste my time on a dolt who doesn't even know its own name. Eyes blink shut and the door is silent once more. Your mouth hanging open in amazement, you stare at the door. Your hands hang limply at your sides. You are too astonished to speak. This door is the strangest thing you have ever encountered. If you want answers, you must talk to the door. Stepping forward boldly, you knock against the frosty forehead. The door opens its eyes again. Who's there? This time you have an answer ready. An elf, you reply. An elf who? Asks the door. Elf Landon from the village of Aurelia. Please let me pass, Mr. Door. The door seems pleased with your answer and says, That's better. At least you know who you are this time. I'm afraid I can't let you pass. You see, it's my job to guard against intruders like you. This is an important place, and I must be and I have a very important post. I say you can't pass, so go away. Door, you say, I intend to pass, one way or the other. Just try it, the door says. If you want to attack the door with your axe, turn to page 89. If you want to light a torch and threaten to melt the door, turn to page 69. If you want to use your axe to cut footholds in the ice chute to return to the surface and go home, turn to page 36. Which do you choose?